ESN TV coverage of the 12th Annual Consortium for School Networking Conference is sponsored by Smart Technologies, N Computing, and CCC Video on Demand, in cooperation with Cable in the Classroom and Consortium for School Networking.
I'm here at the Consortium for School Networking's 12th Annual Conference in San Francisco, where school district CIOs are exploring new ways of using technology to improve learning. At the opening general session, conference attendees learned of two creative strategies for personalizing instruction for students. Imagine a continuum from simple to complex, on which we put the activities of sleeping, eating, and bonding. That was how moderator Chris Deedy of Harvard University began the opening general session on individualized instruction. Sleeping, Deedy said, is a relatively easy task whose successful outcome depends on only a few variables. Bonding, on the other hand, is quite complex. And as for learning?
We treat learning as if it were like sleeping. But everything that we know about learning suggests that it's like bonding, or at worst, eating. And yet the very best of our educational settings has less variety than a bad fast food restaurant.
This eSchool News Report from the 12th Annual CoSN Conference will continue after this message.
CCC, the new leader in video on demand, offers the latest technology available on no other system. CCC's intranet-based solution provides true video on demand. No downloading, no buffering. CCC's programs are encoded at H.264 that provides DVD-like picture quality. CCC is flexible and interactive and allows you to incorporate the iPod and webcasts into your classroom. For more information on CCC Video on Demand, visit ndmccc.com.
Deedy introduced two speakers who highlighted two very different projects aimed at personalizing instruction. Jean Johnson is the project director for notschool.net, a UK-based international online community that offers an alternative to traditional education for students who, for a variety of reasons, can no longer cope with school.
We know that the dropouts cost society here over $200,000 a year. Back in the UK, we're talking about £250,000. That's more than double. So we have a serious economic problem. Now, way back in 2000, I was faced with a challenge by some government ministers, that what could we do to try and organise learning for these kids. And the challenge there was, if you can't take the kids to the learning, you take the learning to the kids and the learning to their families. We're asynchronous, so kids work where they want to work. They're distributed, they learn where they like, and there's absolutely no pressure on them at all. It is absolutely not school. We are the antithesis of everything that school might mean to these young people. Now, you might find that strange, but actually, if you're working with a bunch of kids who are completely disengaged and won't go to school, who are never ever there, you've got to do something, in my view. It's a social responsibility. We have something like 118 areas of content. And I guess about 80 odd of those are worked by kids, delivered by kids, managed by kids. They devised and defined their own curriculum. Their desktop might look different from my desktop, would look different from your desktop, would look different today, tomorrow and the next day. We have total ownership. They have total ownership.
Of course, most educational systems have to operate under more traditional constraints. Virginia's Fairfax County Public Schools, the nation's 12th largest school system, is working to create individualized learning plans for every student, Superintendent Jack Dale told attendees.
We believe that each child is important and entitled to the opportunity to realize his or her full potential. High expectations do, in fact, promote high achievement. We believe effective teachers are essential to the student's success. Learning occurs best when instruction is tailored to individual needs.
One of the main reasons kids drop out of school is they feel no sense of ownership of their education. But ceding some control over the process to students has its dangers, Deedy noted. He asked the two participants how they strike the proper balance between letting students control their learning and shaping it for them.
I really don't have a problem with that. I think the whole point is these kids that we work with have already voted with their feet and nothing else will work. So they can't join the project unless everything else has failed. So they can't be forced to learn. And in fact, there's an awful lot of research that talks about not being able to force young people to force anybody to learn anything they don't want to learn. But my philosophy is that everybody wants to learn. So actually the starting point is, what do you want to learn and where can we go from here? And you can build on that. And once the self-esteem, which is very often what it's all about, is built, like the child that's talking to the founder of the web about programming, once he actually says, wow, I've got something to offer, that's such a powerful model. And then you can build on it, because the child suddenly says, but actually I need to get there, and to get to there I've got to learn something else, and suddenly it actually takes on shape and meaning, and you can develop those concepts. We might not be using the educational and philosophical language that you and I might use, but they are learning.
We're at the stage where we're trying to develop that through our individual learning plan. I think what's interesting is you've had the advantage of selecting kids and faculty who have to have that core philosophy and core belief, otherwise you aren't part of the program. And when we have a large system with 163,000 kids, what we're about now is to try to teach the power of that to all of our children through the individual learning plan. And it's very much in the infancy and developmental stages, and we have people balking and saying, well, maybe this isn't the right way to go, but fundamentally we believe it is. Now the question is, how can we build that kind of capacity and ownership and empowerment in our kids, and teach our kids how important that is, even those who don't yet have issue with it, if you will.
The interactive whiteboard is immediately impressive. They have found an increase in student participation, and that is also translated into higher test scores. Synchronize is a classroom management product that runs on the laptops of the students as well as the teacher. Synchronize allows that teacher to effectively manage the students in a one-to-one environment. Bridget is our conferencing software. Bridget really becomes a very valuable tool for delivering online learning. The Centio student response system allows the teachers to present questions to students and allow them to respond and answer in their own way. The benefit of being able to go to one solution provider to get this seamless integration of all the products working together in that environment.